Now let's look at the major components of a Tpfdd listed in 10401. We'll begin with the force description data. What is force description data? Well, it's anything that identifies that line, that capability. If you look at the first line, UTC 3FBAL, that's identified as a 12-ship F-22 Alpha lead package. Tells what that capability is. You can look through the rest of that information there. 7 Echo 1 Alpha Mike is a Mobility C2 Open the Base assessment team. This tells what that force description is, what that capability is. Now let's look at the unit-specific data. When you think of unit-specific data, think of anything that identifies that unit that is filling that specific line, that specific ULN. Very easy. Unit name, unit identification code. Very simple. Moving on to what I like to call the fun stuff. This is the force movement characteristics. This is actually what is moving. If you look across the top, it says bulk, over, out, and total short tons. Where there's bulk short tons, those tons, that equipment that fits within the confines of a aircraft 463L pallet, 88 by 108 by 96, the stuff or the cargo that is listed there fits within those dimensions. Oversized short tons, simply anything that exceeds the dimensions of a 463L pallet in any way, shape, or form. If it's longer, taller, wider than 88 by 108 by 96, it is considered an oversized short ton. Outsized short tons are those pieces of equipment that require a C5 aircraft or a C-17 aircraft to move. They won't fit on a smaller aircraft like a C-135 or a KC-135, KC-10, or 130. The dimensions are just too big. You total all that up and you get the total number of short tons. Looking at the authorized persons or the PACs, the authorized persons are the total number of people on or listed in that UTC, in that capability. The PACs are the number of people that need Transcom to move them. That top line, just like we saw over there, was a 12-ship F-22 package. My math is correct. 40 minus 12 is 28. We have 12 aircraft. We need 12 people flying those aircraft wherever they're going. And then we need the remaining people to be transported. Routing and time phasing. How are we going to get there? Well, this is basically tells you that information. We start at the RLD. Each one of these dates is associated with a location. The RLD is associated with the origin, which in this case it is McGuire Air Force Base. The individuals that are leaving, or the capability that's leaving McGuire Air Force Base, has to be ready to go, ready to load at the origin on C2. So what this is basically saying is at C day plus 2, that line of entry at McGuire needs to be ready to go. The ALD references or is associated with the port of embarkation, which in this case is the same, McGuire Air Force Base. We can find out if it's the same if we research the port of embarkation mode and source code, the POE MS code. In this case, XG means that the origin and POE are the same. That's why if you look at the dates, the RLD and the ALD on the top line are the same, C2. The window that I talked about, the EAD, LAD window, is C3 to C5. That's in New Jerseyka. Again, fake Tpfdd because they're classified. We're getting to New Jerseyka, which is our port of debarkation, using the mode and source code AK, which in this case means strategic aircraft provided by transcom. And then we must be at our destination at C6, which is also in the Jersica. And you can tell, you can look at that and you can verify that by looking at the destination mode and source code, which is XX, which in this case means the POD and the destination name are the same. Very simple. And again, when you're pulling a Tpfdd, when you're putting the columns where you want them, move these columns around. If you feel more comfortable using the RLD or putting that date right beside the origin, that's perfectly fine. This is how I like to read a Tpfdd. For those of you that like to use pictures versus just data, this kind of gives the exact same thing that we just talked about. The RLD at the origin, the ALD at the point of embarkation, and the EAD LAD window is at the port of debarkation, or the POD, and the RDD is at the destination. But then we look and we have ILOC, an intermediate location. This is basically training. We can put that at any place. We can put it between the RLD and ALD. That's when they have to do support training before they deploy. Or we can put it from the EAD LAD window in between that and the RDD. When they get into the theater of operations, they need to do some type of training. They need to do something that combine with their units to get ready to go. The only place it can't be is between the ALD and the EAD, because that's when you're actually flying over the ocean into the AOR or into your wherever you're going as your operation consists of. All right, let's move on to classification. Classification